Hey everyone, welcome back to the bench and to this final part in my beginner's pendant workshop series. Today we're going to be adding that last bit of magic to finish things off. If you've really enjoyed this series, please like and subscribe and maybe share with another wire wrapper who's learning, who wants to start from the beginning. But if you do want a bit more from me, can I just remind you, head on over to Patreon and give me some support there and help me make these videos happen. All your support goes a long way. I've only got a couple of tiers. There's top tier where you'll get everything, full access to me, including all my PDFs, my books and my tutorials. Or there's just the buy me a cup of coffee tier where you will get a couple of free tutorials for that, and I will add things to that as time goes on. Anyway, shall we just get on with it? Say, let's crack on and see what we're doing. In this final part to my beginner's pendant workshop, I thought I'd introduce you into how to use patina to change your work, how to use it to advance your work. Now, this is a section where you don't have to do this. I've shown you how to make a pendant over 3 videos. That's it. That's fine. That's all good. You can just polish that metal and move on. But I thought I'd show you this extra stage. I really love doing it. So as you can see in front of you here, I've got some examples. So let's bring these up close. As you can see here, we made this in the last video and it's looking all right. It's starting to dull a little bit and you can see the details, stuff like that, but we really want to bring those details out. So let's bring this example up. This is a piece I made some time back. Similar kind of design. You can see it here, obviously a lot more wire, but you can see where there's some nice details of where there's the patina has got in behind the spirals, and it's just kind of like taking a highlight pen to your work and just highlighting all the lovely work and wire wrapping that you've done. Let me just show you these 2 silver pieces here, how patina affects these 2 here. So you can see I haven't done this one yet. We've got to get around to this one. This will happen very soon. But this one I have done. I haven't quite finished it. As you can see, there's an extra paste to be made there, but you can see the difference and see how the patina then lifts and shows all these lovely fine details that I'm doing, especially down the side there. You can see all the weaves and the wraps. You know, that's why I like to do it. It highlights all that lovely little fine work I like doing. There you go. There's a back of a pendant for you there. That one shows you the backs. But there you go. It's a great example of how patina can really lift the work forward. I think it's a big part of my work. I really like using it, but you might not. It's up to you how you use it. There we go. It's a bit better focus. There we go. That's a much better focus. Look down the sides there and how they're all highlighted as well. This one's a good one to show as well. There's lots of tricky stuff going on and it just brings out all those details in everything. Cool. Right then, let's move on. Let me show you how to patina. Before we move on, as usual, I need to do a little bit of a tool talk. So I'm going to break this tool talk down into 2 parts because the second part of this video is going to be about polishing and that needs to be kept separate. So for the start of this video, we're going to be just looking at patinaing. So what do you need to patina? Well, you need liver of sulfur. Most good craft shops would carry this, especially if they're dealing with wire. And yeah, you just need to pick a little bottle like this. Will last you years. You really don't need much of this. I will show you how much once we get into it. What else will I need? A toothbrush, old one or a new one, preferably a soft one. We're going to be using this for cleaning our pendant in a minute. And a bowl. Go buy a separate bowl for this. Don't use one in the kitchen because liver of sulfur is, well, not very nice. It can be a bit smelly and it can leave a residue behind as well. So find an old bowl that you want to use. That's what you want to get. And also, we're going to need a hot tap. I can't bring a tap over here to show you, but yeah, we're going to need a hot tap. Right then, let's get on and let me show you how to patina. Before we get the liver of sulfur out, we need to clean our pendants first. So get yourself a bowl of hot soapy water and using that toothbrush I suggested, soft toothbrush, give your pendants a really good clean. Now there's a very, very, very good reason we're doing this is that while you're working on your pendants that you're leaving oils behind off your fingers which will actually tarnish the metal over a period of time as well, but we want to remove them, and the reason for this is that the patina will then bond to the metal much easier when it's got a nice clean metal to bind to. You want to get it sticking to the metal really good, and also give them a really good dry once you're done as well. We don't want any soapy water going into the liver of sulphur mix. Right, time to get the liver of sulphur out. So when using liver of sulphur, you don't need much. I'm using just about a thumbnail's worth here, which is about half a teaspoon, just over. And also, just to remind you, I'm doing this by a back door. You need to, because it's very, very smelly. Get your tap, run it to the hottest it can be, and you're looking around 60 degrees C, and I'm 500 mils of water here I'm using, or you could just use a mug's worth. Don't need loads. Now, don't be tempted to put really hot water in and go over 60 degrees C, because you'll notice the more you do this is the hotter the water, the quicker the patina happens. But the problem with that is that it will become flaky and it will come off. Yeah, it just gets really flaky when you're polishing it, and it doesn't bond to the metal so well. So you're looking to about 10 to 15 minutes. So keep the temperature of the water low, between 50 to 60 degrees C. And also, to warn you again, you need to do this by a back door or an open window, or even outside. It's the main ingredient for stink bombs. It's going to make your house smell really bad. I may learn my lessons hard when I did these with workshops. I used to smell out our shop loads. But yeah, so outside or by a back door. I'm by a back door here, so I'm not stinking the house out. Once done, give it a good rinse under the tap. You could also use bicarbonate soda. That will neutralise the liver of sulphur. Then place them somewhere to dry. It was a lovely hot sunny day, so I stuck them outside. You could also use a radiator, but yeah, just put them to one side and get them fully dried before polishing. There we go. Now we're finished. Now as the patina's finishing, you can see what they look like here. I find liver of sulphur can sometimes give it like a more like a gunmetal finish. Sometimes not always goes exactly black. It's going to slightly grey, but it's still a great finish. And all of these are ready for polishing now. They look great. But there's something else I wanted to show you before we move on, and I did this purposely because I had a funny feeling this might happen. So let me show you this piece here. So you'll recognise this piece from the bonus piece, but I want to show you what's happened here. See what's happened here? See? Now this piece, this stone itself, it's a slightly porous stone, plus it had, I think, copper ore running through it, or metal ore running through it. So what's happened here is I've patinaed the ore in the metal. Now this is a warning I have to put out there for when using liver of sulphur, especially when you're using a bath of liver of sulphur. You have to be careful about certain stones, especially porous stones. Malachite's a no-no, chrysocola's a no-no, and turquoise is definitely a no-no. If you are ever using those and you wish to use patina or liver of sulphur with them, you need to paint it on. Same with this. Now if I was to go back and do this again, I would paint on. Here you go, you can have a look. You can see exactly, says the stone originally, what it would look like, and now look what's happened to it. So sometimes it's, you will make mistakes. Sometimes you find this out. This is how I learn. I learn the hard way by ruining some really amazing pieces of jewellery, especially malachite over the years. It's really gone wrong a few times. And also, I know, here's another one. You can see just like this was a bit of coral. Now it's gone and don't know what it's done, but it's done that. Now again, I had a funny feeling this might go wrong. Now I purposely did it to show you. I needed to show you that when you're doing this as a bath, just be careful. If you're really unsure about the stone, paint it on. Just mix up the liver of sulphur with a paintbrush and paint it on, and do your best. Try not to get too much on the stone. Excellent. So now we've done this, we need to polish these. We need to do something with them. So let's move over and have a tool talk about polishing. But before we start polishing, let me just talk to you about how I polish and what I use. Now, I have changed over the years many different times. Now, the first stage of polishing would be to remove the patina. How I remove patina at the moment is I like using sandpaper. These are very fine sandpapers. I bought this set from Rio Grande. It consists of 800 and 1500. So start off with the 800. It's a bit not so fine, then move over to the 1500, and that's how I like to remove the patina. You can use wire wool. There's nothing wrong with using wire wool. Often it's recommended for the beginners, but the problem I found with it is that when you get your magnifying glass out and you look very closely, some of the wire wool gets caught into your lovely weaves and or you're wrapping up here. So yeah, so you know, you don't really notice it by eye, but like I say, under a magnifying glass you're going to see it. So be careful with wire wool. If you were just polishing normal silversmithing jewelry, then yes, that's pretty much okay. But yeah, just be careful. There's nothing wrong with using it. You can totally use it, but like I say, it can sometimes leave little bits behind. That's why I've gone over to removing with these very fine sandpapers. Now there's other ways of removing patina as well. Going over to the Dremel drill here, as you can see here, I'm a big fan of the Dremel drill, and you get lots of different heads. I mean, there's loads and loads of different heads out there. So recently I found these kind of heads, and I would call them like a scouring pad head. They remove patina, but they can also remove metal, so you have to be careful with them that you don't wear down your wire, especially the really thin ones. But yeah, they're brilliant. Also brilliant for polishing as well. Really great for getting out small scratches and stuff like that. So that's what I would be using on the Dremel. So once I've removed the patina and I go down to polishing, I have a couple of methods of doing it. So most of the time I will be using these radial discs, the green ones. Now I can't remember what they're called. I'm not sure at all. I was introduced to these by Imian quite a few years ago. They come in various different colours. Read up about them. I use the green ones. I used to use the light brown ones for removing patina, but I didn't quite like it. It removed too much patina for me. So, but I will get round to polishing. I will go, once all patina is removed over, I will go over to this one and start polishing that. I will also occasionally use, depending, especially on sterling silver, I will occasionally use like a fluffy hit radial disc here as well. So you could use some polishing compounds with this. I've not been a fan of polishing compounds in the past. They work really well and they do great, but again, especially when you're doing heavy wire work, let's get something like this. So especially when you're making something like this, the compounds can get stuck again in your lovely wire wrapping, and especially down through coils and stuff like that, and then you're getting a pin in, you have to pick it all out. So again, it kind of works for certain kinds of jewelry, but you know, it all depends. You know what, you do you and see what you like, really. But I recommend getting into these are absolutely brilliant. And then for the final polishing and tucking up, I love these things. These things are absolutely amazing. Again, I bought these from Rio Grande. What are they calling? How to pronounce it? They're just cleaning pro polish pads. That's all they come under. They're great, absolutely amazing at getting in all the tight corners. You can roll them up and stuff like that. They're brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. In fact, when I sell my jewelry, I often give one of these with the piece of jewelry as well, just to encourage the customer not to use any polishing products, because obviously that can hurt the jewelry as well. And often, especially with my copper jewelry, which we'll get to the end of this video, I often paint a lacquer over the top to help stop the copper from oxidizing even further than it actually is. But we'll get to that to the end of the video. So, but I highly recommend these Cleaning Pro polish pads. Rio Grande is where I got them, and I think I got these sanding set from Rio Grande as well. And like I say, you're looking for if you want to go the same as me, you're looking for 800 grit and 1500 grit. Perfect. 1500 grit's the one you're going to be using the most, but I highly recommend that. Collect these, go to eBay. There's lots of different types out there. Find out what works for you, because really polishing comes down to your own methods and what works for you. I've just had years of experience of doing it, and I've come up with this way of doing it. So let me show you how I do it. Right, let's start by removing some of this patina. Let's use this one here. So I've taken some of the 1500 masking tape and cut it into a bit of a strip, like so. And now I'm just going to start gently rubbing the patina off down the sides. Now, how much you take away is up to you. It's really down to personal preference now and kind of design. There you go, I kind of like that. You know, you can leave it quite dark and make it very gothic, or you can remove it quite a bit I'm kind of into the dark gothic-y look. So I'm just going to take off the edges. Like so. Just gently. Obviously, if you've got a very soft stone, you need to be careful with this. That you don't scratch the stone, especially something like malachite that's got a lovely, might have a nice shine and a nice finish to it, but this will take that finish off. But it's all good. Just take your time. There we go. Start seeing the contrast, how it brings the spirals out and makes them pop. Now, I'm pretty pleased with that. That's not too bad. Not too bad. Spirals have come forward. You can see the design a lot better. And I really quite like it when it goes around the wraps like that. For me, it just suddenly highlights that work and how neat they are. I will say this for patina, it can hide mistakes, but it also could really highlight mistakes. So be very careful when you're using it. Brilliant. Right, let's do the rest of them. Now we've removed the patina that you wish to remove, we're going to start polishing now. So I thought, because like I say, I have two different ways of polishing, or a combination of things. I thought I'd show you. I'm going to polish a couple of pieces with just the polishing pads, and then I'll polish a couple of pieces using the Dremel drill and the radial discs and stuff like that. I probably still will finish with the polishing pads, like I say, I always use. But I thought, just to show you let's do a couple of pieces just with this, and a couple with the Dremel drill. So let's start with this piece, and we're going to use the pad on this piece. So these are great because you can fold them up and get them into really tight little bits like that, and just start polishing. So let's start with the spirals, and you can see straight away already, there you go, you can see it's starting to bring a shine. So really, you don't need a Dremel drill, you just need some sandpaper and these polishing pads, and that will do you proud as a beginner sat on your sofa at home polishing away, instead of having a bench like I do. Right, let's get this one done, and let's get the other ones done. Activate hyperactive mode. Well, look at that. That's a bit of a save. You can now see the copper ore in this stone where it patinaed earlier on, and luckily, with a bit of sandpaper and the old polishing pads, I've managed to save this stone. Now that's a first. That doesn't happen often, so don't expect it to happen to you. That's mad. I really thought that hadn't come out quite well, and I actually was quite liking the patina on the stone. I thought it looked kind of cool. But yeah, it saved the stone. If anything, it's now looking better than it actually was. It's got this wonderful copper shine to it. Oh wow, I'm really pleased with that. That's a first for a long time. And actually, something got saved out of the liver of sulfur. They got nearly destroyed by the liver of sulfur. So please don't let this put you off using it. Please use liver of sulfur. Right, crack on with the polishing. Right, let's go over to the Dremel drill and get the radial polishing discs out. Right, let's get the Dremel drill out and show you how I would use the Dremel drill. So again, I'm just using the green radial discs. You'll see these in Cooksons and Gold, you'll get them. They come in various different colours. Read what each one does. They're basically got a certain grit in them, and each grit will be different, a bit like a sandpaper, to be honest. But yeah, I do love these green ones. They bring out a nice shine, but they will remove more patina, and especially remove more patina than these pads will. So let's crack on and let's get polishing, shall we? There we go, we're now polished. So let's have a look between the two. So you can see the radial discs do give you that slightly deeper shine. It's tricky to bring across here on the camera, but I can see it only just slightly deeper shine. So, but like I say, you don't have to use a Dremel drill. As a beginner, I don't expect you to go out and buy one of those. They're like the next tool down the line when you decide to move up the next rung on the ladder. But for the moment, stick with the pads. Like I say, even though I've just done a Dremel polish on this one, I'm still going to go around with the pads. I will still finish off with the pads. And I can forever polish. Oh, look, even that's brought them out even more now. Look at that. Oh, yeah. They're really shining now. They're really shining. So how shiny you go is up to you. Again, it's all preference. It is really all preference. How much you shine, how much patina you remove, how much to keep there. It really comes down to you and your concepts and how your designs really and what you want from it. But yeah, there we go. That's looking really good. I'm really pleased with that one. So what I would do now is I would then spend the next 5-10 minutes on each piece just with this. Just keep going. Just keep going. The more you polish, the better the shine. Until I'm really happy with it. And there we go. So excellent. I think it's time for a little bit of bonus content now we've finished polishing and patinaing. And how do we get it to stay shiny? Or how do we get copper from carrying on patinaing naturally like it would do? Okay, let's have a look. Bonus content time. For the bonus content for this video today, I thought I'd talk and show you this product called Pt04 and why I use it. Now, what Pt04 is a form of a lacquer, kind of like a varnish, and I use it mainly on my copper pieces. Now, what it does is once I finish patinaing and I've polished and I'm really happy with my piece, I then paint it with this stuff. And what it does, it creates a protective layer over the top of the copper and reduces it from tarnishing for up to 3 years or so. Obviously, if you polish that piece, it's gonna polish the Pt04 off. But yeah, this stuff is great. It's not really designed for jewelry. I think it's designed for more industrial uses, floorings, garage doors of all things, but it's been picked up by the jewelry world and it's perfect for when using copper. I do use it on sterling silver as well occasionally. It does help, especially if you're in the selling game and you know some pieces are going to be sat on your board or on your table. They might be hanging around for a few years. Then I recommend using this Pt04, especially if you're patinaing as well, because it helps hold the patina in place as well. And also it does actually add like an artistic finish as well. I always think it increases the contrast, so it takes the patina, which sometimes can be slightly grey, and it will make it blacker. Yeah, it really will. So let me just show you examples here of how and when I've used it. So if you see at this piece here, you can see this is just a practice piece from a very old workshop I just found lying around, but I've not polished it. It's quite old, but you can see it's gone that classic sort of like dull copperiness about it. Copper does do this. It doesn't take long. It takes a couple of weeks to start going like this. And if I was to leave this longer, especially outside in the elements, this will start going really dark and probably green and stuff like that. But if you polish, use patinaing, and then you use Pt04, you can have a piece, something like this. Now this was made, I'm guessing, I reckon 8 years ago now. And I would have polished it back then, and patina. Actually, I made this at one of the UK wire wrapping retreats. This was one of the projects. So yes, don't worry, this is coming as a tutorial later. Especially this, I want to show you this. I really love this. But yeah, so this one's been treated. Now I haven't done anything to this, like I say, for about 8 years. So it started to tarnish up around here a little bit. It does need another polish, but it's still a great example of how it hasn't fully gone. It hasn't gone the usual hasn't fully gone to that orangey, coppery colour. It's on its way, but it's still a great example of how Protector Clear can last for a period of time. So let me just show you how I would use it. So there we go. Let's do this piece here. One of the pieces there. So find yourself an old paintbrush, something with a slightly fine point would be really good, which is one of the kids' ones here. Now, you're just going to throw this away at the end. Unless you've got white spirits and stuff and you want to keep it, I just recommend buying a crappy pack of old paintbrushes to use and then throw away. So with the Protector Clear, it's quite thin. It's not as thick as you think it might be. Just gently paint on. Like so. Don't worry if you get a little bit on the stone, you can rub it off. It doesn't affect stones. Like I say, it's like a slightly not permanent varnish of sorts. But you can see there where it's adding contrast. Makes those blacks blacker. Yeah, especially down on the bow like that, so there we go. Just going to leave them to dry now for a bit, and then I'll do the other side. There you go, everybody. That's how I patina, and that's how I polish at a very basic level. I could go really into depth about polishing. I could do a whole video on polishing because there's so many different ways of doing it. It's to get the same outcome. I also use a tumbler for polishing, but I wasn't going to bring that into now. I don't want you as a beginner to think you need to go out there and buy a tumbler. In fact, I don't want you to think you need to go out there and buy a Dremel drill as well. You don't. You just need something coarse like the sandpaper or wire wool to remove that patina, and then I recommend those polishing pads. They're out of this world. You can buy polishing cloths from a supermarket and stuff like that, but they're normally impregnated with some form of chemical to help remove tarnishing and patina, which could go against your favour and actually remove some of the patina that you want to keep there. So be careful of those. Stick with those polishing pads. Rio Grande, that's where I got them from. Anyway, thank you for joining me in this video, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Take care. It's been really good fun. This has been a great pendant workshop. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. Brilliant. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. To support this channel and help me keep making more videos, please come on over to join my Patreon, where you'll get early access to all my videos, free downloads of my books and tutorials, and entries into my giveaways and more.